So, law school is basically the bar exam now, except you have half the time to get ready for the testing part, and it's graded on a curve. Hey guys, for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Angela Vorpal of angelavorpal.com, and I help 1L law students go after the grades to start a career on your own terms. So, if you are heading into law school or you are thinking about heading into law school one day, definitely check out 1lmasterclass.com so you can grab your spot in my free training all about how to position yourself for those as high as I can go grade goals that I know your amazingly motivated, overly ambitious self has for your 1L year. So if you guys are ready for this completely controversial conversation that is blowing my own mind right now, smash that like button and let's go. So what do I mean when I say that law school is basically the bar exam but on steroids now? Well, when we traditionally look at the bar exam, the timeline for that is that you graduate law school in May, you immediately start taking a bar prep course for about 10 to 12 weeks, and then you sit for the bar exam at the end of July. Now, in that bar prep course, it is specifically designed to teach you everything you need to know about the 15 areas of law that are tested on the bar exam. Now, if you're wondering how a bar prep course could possibly teach you 15 areas of the law in 10 to 12 weeks, the answer is that they give it to you straight. There is no beating around the bush. There is no guesswork. The material is not presented in random circular hypotheticals whose purpose is frustratingly disconnected from the material itself. They are designed to teach you the rules of law and how to apply those rules of law to a fact pattern. End of story. Now, law school has never been that straightforward. Law school has always been more about the learning experience, the thinking process, the classroom discussions and Socratic method, and any other number of ways to articulate the theoretically lovely, but frustratingly nebulous value proposition that law school claims to stand for. So much so that most law school professors will implicitly or explicitly communicate that it is not their job to teach you the law. It is their job to make you think, and it is your job to teach yourself the law. So as you can imagine, law schools in the US come under a lot of criticism for not teaching their law students the practical skills necessary to actually be able to work as an attorney when they graduate, for not teaching their law students the actual substance of the law, and for not providing feedback for their law students to be able to assess whether they are understanding and applying the material throughout the semester that they are supposedly learning. So as a way to compensate for that last thing on the list, law schools across the country have started instituting midterms halfway through the semester. And midterms sound like a step in the right direction, right? It at least allows law students to take an exam before the final at the end of the semester. It allows law students to at least hypothetically get feedback from their professor on their answer and thoughts on how to improve. And it also allows law students to take some of the pressure off of the final exam, which historically has been 100% of the grade in the course, by allocating some percentage of that grade to the midterm. And in theory, I would agree that a midterm is great for all of those reasons. Here's the problem. The way that I've seen this play out has an unintended consequence, and that is that by building in a midterm at the halfway point of the semester, especially for the midterms that are graded, means that law students no longer have the luxury of gradually synthesizing information, piecing it together throughout the course of the semester, from the information they're extracting from the voluminous cases that they're reading, the information that they're gathering from the disorganized classroom lectures that they're sitting through, and from the information in the infinite number of upperclassmen outlines, TA sessions, and supplements that are available to them. They have to master the material and learn the difficult skill of applying that to a fact pattern in half the time, meaning 7 weeks flat, which, damn, that is fast. Not that law students ever had an excessive amount of time to think about, digest, and organize the information that was being presented to them, but now they have even less. And up until very recently, I taught the mastery of law school content through what I called a D+ to A+ approach, which meant that we were shepherding the material over the course of the semester, where we would see it, touch it, work with it multiple times over the course of those 14 weeks. But that's not possible anymore. And it became obvious to me recently that that's not serving them anymore. They need to get there faster than I did when I was a 1L, and they need to take a straighter line there in order to do it. So what do we do about this? As far as I can tell, there's only one thing to do. And that is, as law students, we have to approach law school like the bar exam, meaning no fluff, no discourse, no theoretical debates, No personal anecdotes, no veiled hypotheticals, no rhetorical questions, no thinking like a lawyer, Socratic method cold calls, no rest stops on the road to our destination. We need to understand the rules of law and understand how to apply those rules of law to a fact pattern in a written essay form yesterday. And believe me, I know that this sounds harsh. It sounds harsh saying it out loud, but the reality is that I've had too many students come to me and say that they do not feel confident in the material, that they do not feel caught up in the work, and that they do not remotely feel ready to write an essay answer 7 weeks into the semester when midterms come around. So logistically speaking, what is the first step to approach law school like the bar exam? Well, we need a person or a document, ideally both, to teach us the material in the way that our professor would teach us the material if their sole and exclusive purpose was to make sure that we 100% understood the material and 100% understood the step-by-step of how to apply that material on a final exam fact pattern essay question. In other words, we need a bar exam prep professor. So I'm going to drop a list of my favorite resources below this video in order of my favorites so that you guys can check them out. But the important takeaway here is that our first step is now going to be to teach ourselves the content like we would on a bar exam in a very clear, straightforward, methodical, non-hide the ball way in service to getting us from point A to point B as quickly as humanly possible so that we can give our professors what they're looking for on the midterm and the final exam. So I feel like this is something that's been a long time coming that I have been kind of leaning into, but until recently, I had been hit over the head with it in a way that I couldn't ignore it any longer. And that is sort of this gradual approach to law school where we don't start outlines until halfway through the semester. We don't take a practice exam until 2 weeks before the final, or we put all of our effort and energy into preparing for class and doing well on cold calls, all of which do not serve the purposes of the two graded aspects of the course, which are the midterm and the final exam. And so I hope that this breakdown has been helpful. I hope that you guys have been able to take something away from it for your own study process and get that clarity and sort of that point A to point B, very brass tacks, laser focused approach. And I'm more than happy to continue this conversation in the comments below, or you can send me a DM on Instagram at Angela Vorpal. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next video.